All right, everybody, this is the second part of our Occlusion Mask tutorial, and what we're going to be doing today is setting this up so it works with multiple players, and we're also going to be adding a little bit of noise to our mask so that we don't flat out see completely through this. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our material mask here, and we're going to make a few changes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and add in some noise, like I say, so that we can see elements of what we're looking at. Anything with any kind of texture, or maybe it has a few more triangles or faces on it, like maybe you have like an edge that's sitting on the top of it, you have some framing, that would show up as well. So we're going to go ahead and we're working inside of our material function, the one we called material mask here. You might have called it something a little bit different. What I'm going to do is just right click in here. I'm going to type in noise, and I'm going to attach this to the XYZ coming off of our absolute world position. And I'm also going to add a scalar parameter. To do that, just real quick, so you don't really have to hunt down through here. One thing you can do is just hold down the number 1 on your keyboard and click, and that'll get you a scalar parameter. This is just a number that you can hold on to, and you can, sometimes I've seen where you set it inside of the noise or another node, but for some reason the scalar parameters seem to work a little bit better. I'm going to go ahead and set that for 1, so we at least have a filter width of that high. Notice if we click on this node right here and then go over to the side, we have a few different things that are going on here. Right now we have a simple texture-based setup. We're going to go with a fast gradient 3D texture, and as far as the levels that we're going to have on this, we're going to crank that down to about just 1. We just need 1 on there. Okay, and then let's see, anything else we need to look at there? No, I think everything else looks like it's okay. Actually might change the output minimum to 0, and then I think we're looking like we're in pretty good shape there. I may come back and turn off the turbulence once we see an issue pop up with that. Okay, so from here, we're going to add this in. Now to do this, we're going to do it right before the clamp. Okay, and we're going to multiply this into this space. So I'm just going to drag off this, and we'll do multiply, and I'm going to run this right into here. And then we'll run that into the clamp. Okay, let's see what this looks like after it kind of refreshes the shader here. Okay, now it says everything is transparent. Okay, and we're going to be able to fix that pretty quickly here, so no worries on that. One other thing, as I'm working with this, right after the clamp, actually, there might be some issues with shadows not really making it through some of the masks. So what I want to do is I'm going to add those in. I'm going to do a shadow pass switch. There it is. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and hook that up here. It's going to give it an error because this needs a scalar value again. So we're going to hold down the number 1 on the keyboard, click here, and I'm going to change that to 1 as well. It's just basically a true statement. That's all that number 1 is doing for us if we're kind of looking at this as like a little binary. Okay. Everything's looking pretty good so far. We're getting some shaders updating right here, and I think for the most part everything's looking pretty good. Let me just take a look at everything here. Yeah, I feel like we're doing okay. All right. I hit save. Let me go back over here. Expose library. Everything's good there. I'm gonna go and let's hit save, and we're going to try this out. I'm just going to go see what this looks like and see if it looks the same or if we're getting some noise in there now. Okay, now right away the whole thing is invisible. You can't see it. We do have the shadow, which is good. Previously we may not have seen the shadow, so we do have that part working, but we do have some other issues that are showing up here. All right, so let's take a look at some possible issues that might be coming down the way for us. Everything there looks fine. Okay. Player location looks fine. And let's see here. Now, it could be on our new noise filter that we just put in. I'm going to uncheck turbulence. There we go. Now we're back to where we wanted to be. A little bit better anyway. I want to go ahead and hit apply, and it looks fairly similar actually. Let's actually go to the mice. Okay, so you can see here, it's just a bigger ring now. That's what we're seeing. So let's go ahead and try that out and see if we're kind of back to where we were. Okay, so everything is back, and we do have just a massive ring right now. So we are getting our shadow, which is good. You want to make sure that the light that you have underneath is matching what you expected it to be. So if you do go into a tunnel or something like that and it's not supposed to have a lot of light creeping in, you want to make sure you hold on to those shadows. Okay, so we're going to go back in here, go back to our material mask, and we're kind of missing our, we seem to be missing a lot of our noise. So one thing we can do is we want to go in here to our scale right here, and I'm just going to kind of play with this a little bit. I'm going to turn it down. Okay, it's going to have to readjust after we change things. Okay, that's looking a little better. See that now we have some noise around this. And I think I'm just going to set it for even smaller. I'm going to do 0.03. Ah, that actually looks pretty good. That means that all these black areas right here, blackish gray, that's going to be translucent. Everything else is going to show up. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit apply, save that, and let's give this one a shot. Okay, now keep in mind, I like to make mistakes in here, so there we go. That's looking a little bit better. Now, I may shrink the occlusion mask a little bit just because it's pretty big right now. So to do that, I'm going to go back here to this value that we set up, the scalar right here, this parameter, and I'm going to try 30. Let's see how that looks. Apply it. There we go. Now, this is just something you're going to want to play with as you start to figure out how your game is going to look, and that looks a little bit better. It's a little smaller. What I want to be able to do is see the walls around it a little bit better, so I can tell, like, oh hey, I'm hitting a wall. Like right here, I'm hitting a wall. I can't get past it, so I might even shrink it a little bit more. Let's see here. We're gonna go back. Whoops, that's not it. Let's try 20. Just see what that looks like. Okay, hit apply. Here we go. All right, gonna run back up there. Now, I probably should get my player start a little closer, but that is pretty darn close. It's better. You know, I can see what's going on. I can see that there's a wall in front of me right there. And when I get around here to the edges, I can see a little more of what's inside. Okay, I can see that wall right there, especially if I don't get right up against it. Okay, you may just want to play with that occlusion size a little bit. Okay, so next thing we want to do is we got to make this work with multiple characters. Okay, so to do this, what we're going to need to do is go back to our parameter collector. And what this is going to do for us is it's going to hold on to the player location for all of our players. Okay, so right here on the parameter name, I want to change this to player 1 location. I'm just going to copy this because we're going to make more of these. So we're going to have player 2 location. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here and set this to 2. Then we'll do another one, and we're going to set this one to 3. There's that one. Good. And then we're going to do another one. This is going to be our last one because we only have 4 players. And there is our player 4. Now, this is holding on to these values for us, as I described on the last video. This is handling some material stuff for us. And since materials act a different way, since they are reacting to a lot of different things and are loaded into the game, they just have some things that often load as the level is loading. So this is why they're handled a little different way. This material mask works just fine as is. One thing we're going to need to do, though, is we're going to need a few more. Okay, so we have this material mask here, and we're going to need to make one for player 2, player 3, and player 4 too. So I'm just going to right click on this. I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to get rid of that, and we're going to do MF material mask. I'm going to do player 2. Okay, and then we're going to do another one. We're going to do player 3. Hey, it already did it for us. Nice. And then we'll duplicate again, and player 4. Perfect. Okay, so now that we're here, we need to go in and open these up. We're going to need to make a few changes. One of them is going to be right here. We're not going to do player 1. This is going to be the mask for player 2. Go ahead and add this up here. And then I'm going to go back into my content drawer. I'm going to open up the one that should be for our third player. There's our player 3 mask right there. I'm going to go back to the collection parameter and a material parameter collector, and we're going to make that the third one. While I'm doing this, I should hit apply and save. Yeah, okay, good. Material mask. I may not have done that on the second one. Oh, that's probably the second one. Yeah, okay, good. Let me hit apply, save. When you're doing a bunch of these all at once, sometimes you might skip past it on accident and forget, hey, I've got to go in and apply this. Otherwise, it may not save it. Okay, there's player 4 added into the player 4 mask there. Okay, go ahead and hit save. And now we have everything we need. We probably are not going to need to come back to this again. We're going to make another material function to be able to put all these together, but there's something we're going to want to do in our third person character first. Okay, so we're going to go to our third person character. You just need to find out where that is. Now, one reason that you really want to make child classes out of your third person character, and I'm going to show you how that works here in just a second. Let's see, we're in third person. A child class is something where if you right click on your character that you've been building, you can go in here and say, you know what, I need another version, create child blueprint class. Okay, now if I do that, one of the cool things is that whatever I do on this actor that's the parent, all of those changes filter down to all the other actors as well. So when you make a big change like what I'm about to do here, if you've got other characters that are using the same functionality, they're moving around, they're responding to controls, they're able to use different inputs and things like that. If you want them all to be able to use the same thing, it's often a good idea to make a child class if you want different characters, and those different characters can have more added on to them. They can act in different ways. You can even open up the other stuff that's going to be coming in with these. So if you like, say, if you wanted to open up these elements right here and be able to change them, you can. So one thing we're going to be doing now is I guess we can keep the text right here. That's fine. I'm going to need a little bit of room because we got to add in, whoops, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and highlight these and pull them off to the side. That's getting a little bit crowded there. Let me go ahead and pull this down, and I'm going to move it over. I'm just going to pull it down here. Okay, so where we're at right now is we're on the event begin play, where we're setting up a lot of the information for the different characters. Okay, so what we need to do is we're going to see, where'd that event tick go? It's right here. We need to set up a different parameter name for each of these characters. So I'm going to right click on this, promote to variable. There it is right there. This one's going to be, let's see, player mask name. Yeah, sure, that'll work. Okay, and we're just going to leave that hooked up in here. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is up here, I'm going to take that and I'm going to set it up here. And I'm going to need to do this a few different times. So we're going to run this into here. And you can just type in the name of each of these. So I'm going to go back up to my material parameter collection. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And since I named all of these very similar, the only thing that's different is the number inside. I can just paste this in for each of them and change the number. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here. Okay, and this one's going to be for player 1. And then we're going to add another one off of this. Now, if you drag off of this and, well, actually, I'm going to drag this in here, set, and I'm just going to run this one into there. The other one did it for me. I must have done something really nice because it did it for me, but that's okay. Let's go in here, and we're going to set this one for 2. There we go. And we're going to do another one here. We're going to do a set. Okay. And we want to hook this back up to these for the set text. I'm going to go ahead and change this one to 3. And then we have one more we're going to be doing. I'm just going to do a Control D there so we get another one. And then I don't really have to copy everything again. And just, yeah, I know how it is. We want to make things as easy as possible. So I just need to go in here and change this to number 4. There we go. Go ahead and compile. Everything looks like it's doing pretty well. And then this one's going to get the player mask name, and that's going to get set right here depending on which player number they get. So, or index in this case. Okay, so everything's good here. I'm going to go ahead and save everything. So everything looks good. And all right, that took just a little bit longer. One thing that we want to kind of keep an eye on as we go through this is, are we making sure we're covering each of the players? Because we are having to do individual things as we go through this. So just kind of keep that in mind. Let's see, we have our material collection. That looks good. Third-person characters are all fixed up. We don't really have to do anything here with this material. This is just the one that we made. Notice how it's changed it a little bit here, so it kind of looks like it's got a splatter across it with the noise that we're using. And let's see, we've got all of the materials made. Now we just have to make one more material function. And that is going to be, I call it like a union mask. You know, it's kind of bringing everything together. So I'm going to go out here, going to go back to my user-made stuff, and I'm going to make another material function. So we're going to go down to material, and we're going to do material under advanced, material function. There we go. And this is going to be mf underscore union, yeah, union mask. Let's just call it that. Okay, so we're going to go in here, and I'll go ahead and put this up here at the top. Now what we're going to need to do is all of our different environment masks for player 1, player 2, player 3 are all exposed to the library. So we should be able to go in here and type in mf environment. Oh, well, hey, look at that. They're not showing up. So let's see. Did we do... Okay, let's go ahead and open this up. Let's see, exposed to library. Yeah, we're good. Oh, material mask. That's what I did wrong. Material mask, not environmental mask. Okay, that's okay. We're going to go back in here. mf underscore material mask. There we are. There's our first player. mf underscore material mask. I put in a comma because I'm silly. There we go. Player 2. We're going to need the one for player 3. There we go. And we'll need player 4. Okay, so the way you add these together, it's all kind of based around math. There's not a lot of just adding things together. There's no looping you can do in this kind of stuff. You have to do that outside if you're going to pull any kind of looping structures or anything like that. So the way we add these together is by multiplying them. Believe it or not, that's kind of a weird way to do it. Some people might think, but these are all scalar parameters, which means they are based around numbers. They're supposed to be providing colors and things like that. This is what you use with a material, is colors and different shades. So that's why these are set up this way. So we're going to do a multiply. Okay, we're going to run these two together. Okay, these two as well. Since we can really only multiply two things at a time, we're just going to run these two together. And then we're going to multiply these together. Multiply. There we go. All right. And then from here, we're going to need, or we can just run this in and we can just see what it looks like. I have a feeling we're going to need one more node right in here just because we may need to control the size of this from one place rather than going into each one of these and changing the occlusion mask. So let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to go ahead and fire up some of my controllers here. And let's see. Let's turn it on a bunch of stuff. And let's go ahead and hit play. Okay. Oh, there's my fourth player. That's the way that one spawned in. So this one must be my first player. Nope, that's 2. Let's see, 3, 4. Is this the one? Oh, I haven't changed this one over yet. Okay, well, that's fine. We got 4, and we'll run 1 over here too. We'll do that. Okay. Get out of my way. There we go. Okay, let's see what this looks like when we creep in here. So there's my first player, and yeah, the occlusion mask has gotten a lot larger. It's not seeing my 4th player, so I may need to check on that. Let's see some of the others, if they come in, how they're getting set up. Okay, nothing there either. All right, so let's go back in. Set vector parameter, material parameter collection has an issue there. Okay, so let's see what's going on. There we go. Okay, we got player 2, player 2, player 3 location, player 4 location. Everything looks okay to me. Let's see here. What could be our issue? Okay, let me look around here a little bit. Okay, so I think what might be going on here is something that I did last time, and I didn't really take care of it. So I have my union mask, and what's going on is I'm just using the material mask here. I'm not using the union mask. So let's go ahead and get that going. mf_union, and it's not showing up. So that means that I didn't expose it to the library. There we go. Check that. Apply, save. Let's go back to our see-through. mf_union mask. There we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hook that up to the opacity mask. Apply. Let the shaders kind of work their magic there. Okay. All right, now this one, oh, that looks really, it looks like it's going to be very big. So let's go ahead and check this out. See what it looks like. Okay. Which one of mine is the first player? Oh, you know, I didn't change this one over to the first player gamepad, but that's okay. Here's 2. I'm going to run 2 up here. Yeah, that looks pretty large, but it is working with my second player. They have their own. So if you have people in 2 different parts of your map, but one of them happens to be underneath some cover, then you can always bring them in. All right, let's see. I've got another guy here. I'm going to bring up from the bottom. Let's make sure player 4 is working okay. Yep, looks okay. Okay, now we can keep refining this, but for most of what you may need to do, where you just need to look through the roof, you know, whatever material you add this to, whatever see-through material you have, that's going to get added to this. So if you have a wall you need to be able to see through, then, you know, change that material. That'll work out for you. But yeah, let's see. I'm still seeing some here. Material parameter collector. Okay, that's something else I can work on, so I'm not going to worry about that. But for y'all, this should be a good setup for you. I want to go ahead and save everything. But that does it for you. That will take care of multiple people in the same space and gives you a little bit of noise so you're not completely seeing through it, and also is fairly performant. It's not going to knock you out and you know, if you've got a bunch of stuff on the screen. So that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully that helps you out, and you can get this working for multiple people. All right. If you do want to be able to go in here and change some things, let me show you one thing you can do. This is back in the union mask. I'm going to go ahead and put a divide in here. Okay. And this will make it so you can adjust this for everybody all at once. Okay, and really that's already starting to look a little bit better right there. It's dividing by 2, so I'm gonna go ahead. You can see what it looks like with my see-through right there. It's pretty big. Let's just see what that looks like real fast with 1. I'm gonna have to make this guy sprint here pretty soon. That doesn't look too bad. I think I want to get it smaller though. I'm not going to worry about that right now. The union mask, I'm going to set that for like 0.4. And that might Okay, let's see how that goes. And let's check out what it looks like here. It's reloading. Okay, I'm seeing a little bit more of that edge, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and hit play. Let's just see what this looks like. Okay, that's a little tighter. Yeah, and that might be something you want. You might want a nice little, little bit smaller mask to look through these things. So if you need to make those changes, then I would probably say just use that one little trick here. Put that divide right there, and use small values to kind of run through that. So, all right. Hopefully that helps you out and takes care of things for you. And that's where we're going to stop for today.